I think we all actually sort of recognize some of the problems with Nigeria. What we don't have is clarity as to how to remedy them. There are different schools of thought, as you know. One school of thought, which is probably the most popular, was articulated by the late Achebe in the trouble with Nigeria. And that's the school of thought that believes that the problem is with the leadership. As Achebe put it, there's nothing wrong with the water in Nigeria. There's nothing wrong with the air. There's nothing wrong, essentially, with the Nigerian people. But there's a failure of leadership. That's how Achebe summarized it. And I think that's the popular understanding of the problem with Nigeria, that it's the leaders, it's the politicians, they're the thieves, they're the ones who are embezzling money, they're the corrupt ones, they're the ones who are failing our youth, and so on and so forth. There's a different school, which is the one that I belong to, which is that it isn't just about leadership, because a society produces its leadership. These people are not dropping from on sky. They're people produced within this society and this system. Um, Someone pointed out that it's my generation. I think it was Rudolf that pointed out that it's my generation who are running Nigeria essentially right now. You usually have the figurehead of the president who's much older, but the governors and the ministers and so they my generation and younger. And you would think that for a generation that fought the pro democracy struggle, that saw with itself the harm and damage that bad leadership was doing, you would think that they would grow up and do things differently. But the fact of the matter is that what they're used to is doing things the wrong way. They know they can theoretically articulate what is the right way, but their training and their upbringing and their socialization is in doing things the wrong way. So there's the alienation again, the dissonance between knowing what should be done and doing what should be done. And I pointed out the case of my blood brother and friend, Kayode Fayemi. And when I say that, that's the truth, is that we were essentially blood brothers, who looked after each other, looked out for each other, and worked together in the progressive movement. And I lived in his house, for some time, and vice versa. But you then look at Kayode, for instance, and you look at Ekiti, and you look at Ekiti State, and you look at Nigeria, and you look at Kayode's role in his political party, and he's a key figure in the political party. It may not be a minister or in the president's group, but he's a key figure in that political party. And what kind of influence has he had in his political party, coming from the progressive background that he comes from? What kind of role have these people played, coming from the student politics background that some of them had? In many instances, they just turned their backs on those and done things the Nigerian way. One of the points that Kaide made at the very beginning, when he was first contesting to become governor in Ekiti State. He gave an interview to the New York Times, and one of the points he made, one of the arguments he made, was that in order to change politics in Nigeria, you have to do it the Nigerian way. And what was the Nigerian way? He was giving money to area boys and basically buying votes, which is the Nigerian way. So how do you change a mud pit by throwing mud? That's not how you how you change. You change. You come out of the mud pit, and clean up. You don't jump in the mud pit and say you're going to change things in the mud